Hey everybody, and welcome to another Stu Kent Expert Session. Today we have the pleasure of hearing from Alex Oliveira. With more than 10 years of experience in digital marketing, Alex is a seasoned professional with a reputation for driving business growth through lead generation and search engine optimization. Alex holds important industry certifications from OMCP, Google, Facebook, and more. With a proven track record with small businesses and enterprise companies such as Home Depot, AutoNation, MetLife, Ford, and others, Alex's expertise in the digital marketing industry has led to opportunities to write for Forbes magazine, speak at more than 50 conferences, and lead 150 workshops. He believes in lifetime learning and continues his own education daily, as well as sharing his knowledge as a guest lecturer at several universities. Alex has been a valued board member of several nonprofit organizations over the years, as well as working with nearly 100 nonprofits in various roles. Alex has the privilege to serve as a board of director for the South Florida Interactive Marketing Association and SEMPO, a global digital marketing association. We're very excited to have you on with us today, Alex. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this webinar about landing pages. And we're going to be talking about the importance of landing pages and how they will help you generate more sales and more leads. All right. So I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Alex Oliveira. I am the founder and CEO of Predict. We are a digital marketing consultancy, and what we do for clients is help them grow their leads and sales pipelines through lead generation. In the last 10 years, we've generated over 20 million leads for many Fortune 500 businesses, small, medium, and global as well, in many industries. And so we feel like we've done enough lead generation for the last 10 years that we have a really good understanding and sort of a recipe for what works. And one of those components is really landing pages, which we're going to talk about today. So I'm the dadpreneur, and the reason I use that title is because a few years ago, my business, Predict, really gave me the opportunity after we went virtual with a staff around the globe, gave me the opportunity to work from home. And that sort of led my wife and I on a journey to do homeschool for our kids. So we've been doing homeschool for about 2 years, and it's been a really fantastic thing to, be involved in teaching our kids. We have 4 little ones at home. So it's sort of a lot of work. I have to switch my cap from, teacher to dad, sometimes to marketer or entrepreneur. And in all those cases, I need to do a lot of marketing, whether it be to, for my clients or for my kids. And so that's why I use the title dadpreneur. But I really enjoy doing digital marketing and helping clients grow their business. So I hope what you guys will learn today will really help you understand also digital marketing better and the importance of landing pages. So let's get started. So when it comes to landing pages, the whole role or point of having a landing page is to help you capture data or leads and convert them into a sale, right? Now, you may have a website where you might not need landing pages because you're neither looking for the user or visitor to turn into a sale or a lead. So there's that too. But landing pages in either case, whether you're trying to generate a lead or generate a sale, or just wanting people to engage with your content, a landing page will really help people focus on the content. I often compare landing pages to a sales flyer, right? You wouldn't give someone walking by a flyer for an event that was that thick with a bunch of pages. So that would be like the full website. You would want to give them the flyer or postcard that has just the headline, a picture, how to buy the ticket to the event, and very specific so that it's actionable, right? That's what a landing page is. So if you're looking to increase your sales pipeline and more leads, you got to make sure that you have a landing page for every single one of your products or services, and even specific to different markets is very important, and segmenting it to different audiences. And we're going to get into that here in a little bit because we'll talk about the importance of testing. The reality is, like everything else in digital marketing and technology, is that you have to test. You have to test a lot. There's no one size fits all. There's certainly systems out there like Unbounce and Lead Pages, ClickFunnels, and some others that do a really nice job with a sort of one size fits all solution with some templates. And that might work for you, or a Wix website or a Squarespace. But the reality is, if you want to build a machine that generates a lot of leads and sales, you're going to have to build your own landing pages. And again, you could still use templates, but you have to use the science behind it. And so that's what we're going to talk about here today. All right. So we're going to get into this video here that I sort of simulated, just so that you can see exactly what the landing page is. All right. So let's make sure we have this on. Okay, so you can see here with the simulation, we're going to Google search engine. We're typing in a search query like auto insurance quotes would be one. And when you click, as you can see, we're looking at some ads here. We'll click on that. What you're landing here is on a landing page. As you can see with the landing page, there are no buttons, no menu buttons on the header. You've got basically a footer with some terms of use, privacy policy, and contact us. And on the header, you've got the security right there, SSL, but then you've got the logo and a phone number. And now they're just going to guide you, right? Again, the point of the landing page is to capture leads, not make the user go through the entire website and oftentimes get lost. You see the get a quote call to action there. And then you see that a good landing page will have validation incorporated into it. I need to make sure I enter a valid zip code. So in the case of this landing page, I came off of an ad on a search engine, came onto the landing page, and because I was looking for an auto insurance quote, they're going to present me with an auto insurance quote form. And as I start to fill that out, you can see here that there are multiple steps to that landing page. And again, you don't always have to go to a landing page you see up there on the domain. I can always delete the rest of the tracking code from the URL and just go to progressive.com. But if I do that, I'm in a full blown website, which has lots of options and will get me lost, right? And oftentimes you understand that if you see an ad, perhaps there are coupon codes and a certain journey that is a little bit different, right? So let's take a look at another one here, another Google search. Let's do a new car quote. So if you're shopping for a new car, right? So I would type in a dealership near me, for example, right? All right, and as I'm going through that, let's see here. Let's click on Ford. Ford is going to send us to either a landing page or to the actual manufacturer's full website. So that's what they're doing here, sending me to the full website. And then from there, I can locate a dealer and then they match them with the dealer. So every business model and industry is different, which is why I say you need to test and look at how landing pages work for every industry. So let me move this over here. All right. And you can see here, now, if I'm being more specific and looking for an actual Mustang GT, I'm not going to land on the homepage of the website coming off of that. I'm going to land on the page that has the actual product, in this case, a car that I'm looking for, right? Let's take a look at another search here. Let's say if we did a mortgage, you're looking for a mortgage or a refinance, for example, mortgage rates or refinance. So let's put that in there. Click go. You see the first ad is from Lending Tree. And again, I just want to point out the fact that although we are here doing it based on search engines, the same is true for social media. The same is true for email marketing. The same is true for videos and everything else. Whatever you do online with your brand, right? And you're promoting products or services, whether it's through paid ads or through organic. When someone finds that content and they click through to go to the next page on your website, that page, again, needs to be very specific information. And if your goal is to generate a sale or a lead, then you have to have all those components in that landing page. And that's what I'm trying to get out with this video here, so that you can see the different examples in each industry. So for a mortgage, we went to Lending Tree, as you can see here, they click, they offer me with a click to continue or try to find the right type of mortgage that I'm looking for. Let's say I picked single family home, it's going to guide me through it. And just like I mentioned before, you know, it's got a phone number, their logo, and nothing else on that page, because they are guiding me through that journey step by step, asking a series of questions rather than allowing me to just go to the full website and then get lost and spend 20 minutes and not get what I wanted to get. So again, that is the whole point of landing page, making sure that your user has the best experience. All right, let's do a couple more here. Let's say we did personal, let's do this actually. Let's do a business lawyer near me, right? Or New York. Let's pick a bigger market. So there you have Legal Shield, right? So it's a marketplace for attorneys. And typically you see a lot of these marketplaces using landing pages because they are selling the leads to the businesses, right? And then the consumer is the one who's getting onto the platform. So, you know, those types of Expedia falls into a marketplace, Home Advisor, Angie's List, Care.com. The list goes on and on. In every vertical, automotive, you have Edmunds, KBB.com, TrueCar.com. For wedding, you have Wedding Wire. You have Thumbtack. Pretty much every product or service that exists out there today, you're going to have marketplaces who are the websites that sit in the middle between the consumer, the user, and the business, right? So they capture that information from the consumer and then they sell that lead to businesses, right? And by the way, majority of those marketplaces are not generating those leads organically or through paid ads. They're using affiliate marketing, which we're going to touch on as well. And when you decide that you want to do an affiliate marketing program, meaning you recruit a number of publishers who have traffic to their website. So if you have traffic to your website, you're a publisher and you're generating content to engage that public. Typically, those publishers will then sell the ads, whether it's inbound or outbound. They will sell the ads, promote your offer, and then drive traffic to your website. But when they drive traffic to your website, they need to make sure that you have a very well optimized landing page, right? So again, in this marketplace, as you can see here, they chose to just go with the full website, but it was very specific. It had a join now button, it had a get a plan button, right? So even though it was the full website, it still had some nice call to actions listed on there. So let's try hair salon, Miami Beach, for example. So sunny Miami, we typed that in there. What you're going to notice with a lot of local businesses like salons, like gyms, personal training, restaurants, right? Like this one here, sushi restaurant, is that the majority of the first page results that you see are from websites like TripAdvisor and Yelp. And I do want to, put a side note here about, digital marketing and SEO and everything about traffic, is that there's always someone trying to capitalize on your journey between you and your customer. So there's always friction. Why? Because there are publishers on the internet and they create a better experience, yes, but they also want a piece of that, right? So they're going to charge you per lead or they're going to charge you a fee. So Yelp is one of those. They create, I would say, an opportunity for you to talk and engage with your customers through reviews, but they also create some friction. And if you want to show up at the top of the results, you have to provide a lot of content for Yelp. You have to make sure that your customers are giving you reviews. So for that reason, you see here, Yelp comes up for a lot of different verticals right at the top. Right, there you go. So here's dentist, pretty much the same, but then dentist also, there are a lot of networks out there, publishing sites that do the same thing, right? As you can see here, it's like a directory for dentists, right? So let's see here if we choose, let's do home renovation. So that's a big vertical online. As you know, there are a lot of websites, marketplaces that cater to that audience. We'll take here's a home improvement website. Here's Home Advisor. Again, when you click on that, the next page that you're gonna go on, well, see, and oh, here's an interesting thing, right? So let's go back to this over here. So depending on what browser you're using, how much ad blocking you have on your browser, I may come to a website where I get a 500 error or something like that, or a 400. So it's important that the landing pages that you build, in this case, it's because I'm using a VPN, but in other cases, it's because the landing page link is broken. So make sure that if you are creating, building landing pages, that you are continuously testing them, especially if you're spending money on ads and you're going to drive traffic there. But here's a great landing page for a local contractor, right? Excavations, you've got the big phone number right on the header. Phone number is great. I don't have to go to the footer. And they chose to leave all the menu buttons here, but right above the phone, I don't have to scroll. I see that there's a form for me to fill out, and that's a lead capture form, right? And so they've done a very nice job with this landing page here to run their ad. And you don't always have to have a landing page without menu buttons, but I can tell you from experience that a landing page with when you eliminate any buttons to click on, especially social media buttons, you will generate more leads and sales. So let's take a look at a roofer in San Diego here. If we looked at a roofer in San Diego, we click here on a local. Here's a local roofer, great form, right? But what's wrong with this form? Well, they've got their logo, they've got their phone number, contact us page, and a few buttons there. Name, email, and message. Get a quote today. No phone number. I see this with so many landing pages and forms on websites. They ask for a name, they ask for an email, and even allow you to put in a message, but they don't ask you for the phone number. So what do you see? A lot of these businesses can't contact the person. And the person is contacting you to begin with because they want to potentially get a quote or do business with you, buy your products or services. So make sure that you think about what fields you want to include in your form. It goes without saying that the longer the form, the less conversion you'll have, but make sure you get the crucial fields, right? Okay, so let's keep going on here. And okay, let's go on and do windows. Yeah. Okay, window replacement in San Diego. So we'll do renewal by Andersen. Andersen is a major window manufacturer. Okay. And you can see here, they've got a really interesting form. I was looking at this earlier. Their lead gen form is actually a sticky widget on the header. So they have their phone number on the header, but the form appears sticky meaning as I browse, that form just pops down like overlaid on top of the front page. So you can see, but it's asking for the specific fields: first name, last name, email, phone number, zip code, request consultation. I can also talk to them right then and there. And so it makes the user experience very rich. And it gets away from the research that show that forms do better and convert higher when they're on the right side of the page of the website. But as you can see here, that whole experience was on the header. And it's not a simple widget to build onto your website, but it's certainly worth testing. So here's if I were looking for a product like cosmetics or lipstick, I could click on a landing page here or a product page by Neiman Marcus. And as you can see here, in this example, I'm not giving you a service industry. I'm giving you a product. So if you built your business on using, let's say, Shopify or any of the e-commerce platforms, each of your products should have their own landing pages, right? Because that landing page, when I get to that landing page, as I did here, it's got the buy button. I can add to my shopping cart and buy right then and there. Imagine if instead of that, if it didn't go to a shopping page, if it just went to a page that had content about the product. So you can look to e-commerce companies like Chewy, like Zappos, and some of the major ones, and you can see that they've developed that user journey to generate more sales in a way that just works. It works. And so service providers and other small businesses haven't really figured that out yet so well. But as I said, if you want to build a really nice landing page that converts well, look to the top e-commerce companies and see how they build that whole funnel for the customer, right? So you can see that here. Let me move this. And let's see if I have another example here. Well, I've got the dog food. And here's yeah, this one was about dog food. So that's pretty much it for the simulation here. I just wanted, again, to get to show you that when you're building landing pages, you do so because they work better. They function much better for the customer, and they will convert more leads for you, right? Because it's very specific. But let's look at the 4 steps to creating a great landing page now. The first step would be the design. Second step, to optimize that landing page. Obviously, you need marketing, whether it's inbound or outbound marketing. You need a plan to promote that landing page. The traffic is not just going to come. SEO may be great, and long-term it works, but if you want more traffic, you have to diversify the way in which you get traffic. Step 4 is to measure, and step 5 really is to repeat it across every product or service. If you have 100 products, you should have 100 landing pages. As a matter of fact, maybe you have 200 landing pages, 2 for each. Why? Because you want to test which one works better, right? So that's called A/B testing. So let's talk about the offer. So you have to figure out what you're offering your customer. And what I mean by that is not the product, but it's the positioning of how you're going to convince them that your product right there virtually on the website is the best choice. Yes, there is a part of that that is design, the actual visual storytelling. There's a part of that that is price, right? But the other piece of it is the offer. Like what incentive do you have? So if you see here, this subscription company, they sell kids kits. They're offering a coupon right on the header, right? And when I go to the next page, if I'm there for more than 10 seconds, the coupon actually pops up, and then I give them my email, and then I will get in my email box a coupon that is even more than the first one. As you saw, the first one was 15% off everything. The second one with the pop-up is 30%. So that's what the email is worth to them, another 15% off. Why? Because they want to capture that, because they already have a metric that says X number of people who give us the emails will continuously come back and shop and open the email, right? So that's that. And then you can see here, if you go onto the product page, not only is the coupon still there, but there is still a little button here on the lower left-hand side that actually says save today. So they're giving multiple ways for you to get an offer right there on the spot, right? So the design musts. Well, design, as you know, is really a subjective concept. It's like art, and there are some really funky looking websites out there that I've encountered, both with clients and just shopping, that you go, wow, that's really not nice looking and whatnot. But the product is in demand, you need it, the price is right, you engage with it. So design is really, it's like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And so most designers will try to figure out what your vision is and try to translate that into sort of what your brand is, right? So it's certainly your colors, your font, and then design layout, right? It's very important. So the images, and it goes without saying that right now in 2020, a website needs to be responsive. So just like we see the example here, both on mobile and desktop. So when you're designing your landing pages, make sure that your designer and developer shows you both forms, right? Because with desktop, you have more real estate from side to side. And with mobile, it's just going vertically up or down, right? So make sure that it's responsive and you look at how both function, right, through that journey. So, all right, let's take a look here at the design tip. So a great tip that you can use to generate more leads and convert more on your website is to use colors. Play with the colors, the buttons specifically. And there is so much testing out there that will show you for different industries that the buttons do better depending on the color, right? So if you have a red button, generally speaking, great. It's a call to action, add to the cart, but I am associating red with a sale, right? And that's not for everyone because you have a lot of brands that use the colors red. Blue is a color that really gives you that sense of trust and security, right? Where green is usually associated with nature or in the financial industry. There's lots of green there too. So it really depends on how you want to use the color. But I would say first consider the buttons, less the font, because the font, you're not going to have your font in a bunch of different colors. On a landing page or on the website, you need to narrow it down to one or two shades of black or gray, or if the website is dark mode, you're going to have it in white. But as far as like the actual buttons, that is where you're going to test the most with the colors. So it's very important. Also, whether you're a business that sells a product or a service, it matters whether you design the landing page for click-through or for lead gen. If it's for click-through, it's going to be e-commerce because I want the user to see the offer when they land on the page and then to click through to add to the cart or buy the product. Whereas if it's for lead gen, all I want that user to do is fill out that form. So they get to the call to action, they've given me their information, and they submit for a lead. The only thing you have to decide there is whether it is the information that you need multiple steps like insurance, or just a one short step. Like if I'm looking for a plumber, I only need to tell them what the plumbing issue is about, give them my first name, last name, phone number, and location, right? Or if it's a condo or a home. So every form is a little bit different, but it's really no different than a salesperson or a customer service person talking to your potential customer. So you think of forms in that manner. No navigation menu, and certainly no social media buttons above the fold. Okay, so let's get to show you a couple samples here. Here's a great landing page, very specific about insurance and mortgage, and you get a free guide here, and that is a great way to generate leads. If you are a service provider and you want to capture data to follow up on, create content like infographics, case studies, white papers, ebooks, and allow the user to download it by giving you their email. So that is a great way to use a landing page for lead generation. So optimization musts, really it comes down to making sure that the landing page functions to the best of its ability on whatever content management system you're using. So optimizing is something that you are always doing because everything is always changing. So here's another great example from Blue Apron. Great headline right there, a better way to cook. They've got the call to action button, join now. They also have the price, so they're reinstating what that offer looks like, right? And then in their case, it's a very short form. And then also you give people the option on the form whether they can sign in using Google or Facebook. That's another way to test as well. But Very important that once you've built the form and you've tested the form, you make sure that you integrate it with your CRM, with your customer relationship management software. There's many out there like Zoho and Salesforce and many others. And then create for your marketing campaign a drip campaign, so there are triggers, so that every time a person fills out the form on the landing page and the lead goes into the CRM, it will also trigger a series of emails with different information or content. On the landing page, absolutely don't use long paragraphs, because it's not about content, it's about a quick offer that will convert. Use bullets, that's always a great use of real estate on landing page. And certainly test. As you can see here, Hotjar is a great software that does a lot of heat maps and user experience testing. And so you can, once you build your landing page and you have traffic going to it, you're going to want to use a UX software like Hotjar, so that you can see where the heat map shows you the most interaction or lack thereof. So you might have some text where no one is scrolling by it, so you might want to eliminate that, and then you can see where the hot spots are, right? So here's also another landing page WordPress plugin. So if you're using WordPress for your website, that is your content management system, WordPress offers lots of plugins. They're not all made the same. Some plugins are just terrible and you can't trust, but if you do your research, then you'll see that there are some good ones. This one here is a plugin called Inbound Now. You can actually do A/B testing on your landing page. You can see where I tested here. And all I did was change the variation on the headline, and the headline changed the conversion rate. So whether it's your headline, whether it's the call to action button, the layout, you can test and figure out what landing page layout and format works best for you. Super, super important. You don't want to create just one landing page that works. Here's another example of an optimization we did with a national flooring company a few years back, is that we used a booking system. So when the user clicked on the offer online, they would go on to a landing page that actually allowed them to book the appointment with the in-home salesperson. And again, same thing there. You want to try to test the orders in which you ask the user. You might ask for their email first, or the email last. Phone number first, phone number last. Or you might just want to ask them about the product first. That also has to be tested. It's not one size fits all. Here's another one with Sephora. And I'm giving this example because they are so great at marketing. And being that they're obviously a brick and mortar, but they also sell online, they're sort of like the hybrid, right, of the old business model and new business model. But ultimately, they want to sell more product. And they do such a nice job with their branding and with their customer journey and experience and all of that. But really, look, it comes down to, you need to know your target audience. You need to know their interests. So that's their psychographics, their behaviors, and then know what area you want to cover, and speak to that audience like that on those landing pages, right? Also want to figure out what marketing channels you're going to be in. Is it social media? Is it email? And you might have landing pages that are specific to those channels. So let's say I put an ad, or I just post a link to my website on Facebook, and I want those people who click from Facebook to go to a landing page that is specific about Facebook users. Maybe it's a Facebook group that I created. You see, so I can talk directly to that audience and say, hey, my Facebook friends, here's an offer for you. And they land on a page that actually talks to them specifically. And it's so great when brands do that, because you feel like that click through is very seamless, right? So again, emphasize benefits, not features. And you see a lot of that with most of the brands that I show you here. A great thing to do at the bottom of any, and on the footer of any landing page, is add some trust factors, like your testimonials, or you can use plugins that will actually populate your Facebook, your Yelp, your Google reviews. So making sure that you're showing those trust indicators. Landing pages also need to have an SSL certificate, like most of your website. but I see that some people, some websites fail to do that. There might be something blocking them from having the S in the HTTP. So make sure that they have an SSL certificate and they are safe. And again, I mentioned this in the beginning. I wouldn't even say limit at this point. I would say eliminate social media links from your landing pages. Social media links, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, what they do is make the user click on it. They leave, they go to the social platform. And when they get there, all they see is your competitors. They're not likely to sit there and just engage with your page only. They're not going to do that. They're going to see other shiny objects, and then that's it. You lost that lead or potential sale. So if you're doing a landing page, and specifically if you have paid traffic going to it, make sure you eliminate any links to external websites, right? Which is the opposite of what you do with like SEO. You build links for landing pages. You want them to convert. You don't want them to leave that landing page, okay? And then if you are going to do a video on a landing page, make sure that you don't use YouTube, because if you embed the form from YouTube on your landing page, the same thing happens. They are likely to click and see a competitor video come up at the end of the video. So if you're going to embed video into a landing page onto your website, your actual URL, make sure you use a platform like Vimeo, or just research. There's a ton of other video hosting platforms, not YouTube. It's free for a reason, right? And here's one last example of Airbnb campaign, and they do such a good job where if you begin your journey there, it actually, you can start with logging in, and every time I come back to a landing page, it'll auto log me in. So it's another way to capture leads and make sure that you're talking to that customer. Like it might even register the time of the IP address they're using, and you'd say, "Good morning, Joshua, welcome back," that sort of a thing. So these are very dynamically optimized landing pages. They take everything into account, from the device to the IP address that the user is utilizing. Okay. And then last but not least, measuring musts. So whether you're using Google Analytics, your website analytics from some other platform, it is absolutely important that you have all your pixels added on there, conversion tracking. If you're going to have referrers or affiliates driving traffic to your website, they must all have a unique URL that you give them. And there's plenty of plugins out there that you can use for landing pages. And that is all I have for landing pages. I hope that you learned a little bit more about why landing pages are important and how you can optimize your website with landing pages to generate more sales and more leads. And with that said, I thank you. And again, I'm Alex Oliveira.